Hey everybody, it's Thursday night. It's not a holiday. The 4th of July was last week, so we're back on the air tonight. We got a lot of comics to talk about. One that apparently we disagreed on, so that'll be fun to see where the disagreements come in. And so stick around, find out what's going on, what we're liking, what we're not liking, and what we one likes and one doesn't. And we'll talk about some more of that here in just a minute. And we're back. Uh, don't have a whole lot of curious and clever things to say, so I'm just going to bring on the one, the only, Mr. Allen Breed Love. What's happening?
So I have got some very serious business we need to handle right quick.
Uh-oh.
This is something that's been bothering me for a while, and I've really had to come to terms with it. I really need our audience to chime in on this, and I need your thoughts on it also. This is a very, very, very serious matter. Why has no one found us a yard sale Ouija board yet?
That's true. I haven't even gotten any phone calls about one.
I mean, I asked for this over a year ago. I don't understand. It's a simple request. I mean, the most powerful community in the world, the comic book community, we have so much influence over pop culture. It's a simple request, a yard sale Ouija board.
It doesn't seem like it should be that hard.
No, I don't think it should be that hard.
What's up, Paul? What's happening, Jude? Good to
What's
see you
going
guys.
on?
Blue Hellion!
What up, Blue?
Gotta tell you, every time I see Blue Hellion on here, I gotta say, I don't know if you guys ever heard it, but are you familiar with the Ray Stevens song, "The Blue Cyclone"?
I'm not familiar with that one.
It's about him going to a wrestling match where the Blue Cyclone is wrestling, and he's like, "Oh, what a bunch of fake stuff," right? And he's hollering and not being cool, and so then he runs into the Blue Cyclone outside the arena, and it does not go well. Uh, it's quite funny.
I have to track that one down. I don't think I've heard that one.
There's actually, I think it's a two-parter, uh, and it's very funny. But yeah, the Blue Cyclone. What's happening, James? Good to see you. Boom, boom, boom. And that's because you're awesome. I mean, that's not why you're awesome. They're not contingent. It just helps me feel
Now,
better.
if you would have come by the shop the 5th that night, you would have seen the greatest balcony dive / wall run in all of D&D history.
I have to say that was insane, and I can't believe that freaking worked.
I can't either.
Awesome. Hope you found what you were looking for, and if not, I hope everybody was cool.
Oh, we need
Whoa,
to
whoa! We got somebody checking in with us from Disney World.
What up? Hey, Nick.
He's at Disney World, and yet we are still the most entertaining thing on the planet.
Nick, are you actually in a park right now? Because if you are actually in a park, I will shoot you a link and you can go live with us right quick from the park.
That would be fantastic. What's up, Tots?
What up, Tots?
Tots, it's like you got texted and you had to chime in because he was about to relay the story of some death-defying antics that happened on Friday last week.
Oh, Tots, I just referenced the greatest balcony dive / wall run, full-blown Assassin's Creed moment in all of D&D history. I mean, minstrels wrote songs about me after it was over with.
Oh, no doubt. All right, Nick just sent pictures from the Magic Kingdom.
All right, so
and he's wearing his Haven shirt too.
Let's do this.
Not gonna lie, those shoulders look a little sunburned. Oh, Lord have mercy. That boy ain't right. Didn't we get Batman Death in the Family? Is this the kind of what if Robin had lived? Because that's on my list. I just have not read it yet. Have not read it yet.
Hey Nick, check the Nicholas Dakota email account.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to reading that. And because I'll be honest, I tried to vote when I was a kid to off Jason Todd since they had the call-in vote thing. And my dad is like, no, I'm not letting you make a phone call that's going to cost me 99 cents so you can kill an imaginary character. He was not having that. So I was glad that it went the way it did. But I am curious as to how that family would have gone, how the story would have gone had the vote come in the other way. Really interesting. Hey, we have our Disney Parks correspondent is here live. I think people just don't know that. What's happening?
So are you at Magic Kingdom right now?
Yeah. Wrong button. I think I've done this before. Yes.
I would think that. There we go.
Nice.
We are
so
setting up early.
Why are you sitting right there?
Because the fireworks start in an hour, and so we want to make sure. Look at these shoulders. Ooh.
Yeah, I saw that. You're looking pretty toasty there.
How long
I
did you do
told you day
guys?
one to make sure you were putting sunscreen on that.
Oof. So we did. I have been slathering it up, and I had a nice tan. And then today just forgot because it was raining this morning. We were at Animal Kingdom, and it was just raining, so I didn't do it. But yeah, I'm a lot redder than I thought. So
how crowded is the park today?
It's not been very crowded at all this week, really. I mean, I don't think we've waited.
9,000 degrees.
Probably. Of course, I did try to get tickets to Universal, and they're completely booked out for like the next week or two. So they're not having any crowd issues. So whatever that's worth.
Well, their capacity is a lot less for one. But is this because the new park just opened?
What park?
The new one at Universal.
Oh, that I don't know.
No, Epic Universe does not open until 2025.
Okay.
But yeah, so we
it is not a dry 9,000 degrees in Orlando. I can guarantee you that.
There is nothing dry about Orlando.
No, and especially as rainy as it's been all week. No, it's been pretty rough. I won't lie. So, but yeah, so Ellie and Sky are finishing up their shopping, and then I'm just keeping our spot here. So this is our second time at Magic Kingdom this week. We have to park hopper things and whatnot. But yeah. So what would be awesome?
Give James props. He's like, oh wait, I didn't even pop that up. He said, "Ooh, Disney for free."
Yeah, basically.
Oh, that's
basically.
Awesome.
These stupid gnats are everywhere, man. Killing me. I thought Disney eliminated their bug bubble.
That's interesting.
So for those of y'all that don't know, we've got like this group chat text message thing going on, and I saw this amazing picture that Josh saw the other day of Nick on Tiana's Bayou Adventure. It was a beautiful picture.
That was awesome.
And
Nick, were you scared to death?
Yeah, and that's the first and last time you will see me on that Splash Mountain ride. That was ridiculous.
What is it? The drop? Did the drop or did the animatronics get you? What showed us on the doll where they hurt you, Nick?
Nick does not do heights or drops. So.
Oh, did you not know that there was a drop?
No, I knew. I was just trying to show my 5-year-old that, like, hey, there's no need to be scared. You know, it's just a ride. And so if you say those things, then you gotta, you're gonna get demonetized. Yeah. So this is what it is. But yeah, so I rode that one, rode Slinky Dog, hated that one too. What else did I
Really?
ride that
Slinky
was
Dog?
scary? Hell yeah, that ride is scary.
Slinky Dog.
Have you
That's
ridden it?
intended for children.
Yes, it's scary. It's still a roller coaster.
Okay.
I'm terrified. It
Interesting.
terrifies me, dude. Not my cup of tea.
So
Feel
when
like I
you go
do.
past the bride in Haunted Mansion, do you have to close your eyes?
We couldn't even ride that one because of Ellie.
Oh, really?
Yep, I couldn't even ride Captain Jack Sparrow because she got into the right before we get on the boat, and she screamed bloody murder. I don't want to get on, so we didn't. We did not.
Oh, well, I
tell
hate
you,
that y'all didn't get to ride that.
What now?
We when my nephew was really little, and I'm talking he was 2 maybe. We were at Disney World, and here we go. Anyway, we were at Disney World. My nephew's about 2 years old, and we took him on the Haunted Mansion, and his parents were in the car ahead of us, and he was riding with me and Leslie. And I realized then that he might get a little scared. And so we just started talking about it, and we're like, look at how dirty this place is. Look at all that dust. Look at all those cobwebs. And he's like, yeah, this place is dirty. What's wrong with this place? And he got really focused on that. And then when it got to the graveyard scene where some of the ghosts, the heads will pop up and stuff like that, he got a little scared. And Leslie told him, like, if you see something scary and something says boo to you, will you just say boo right back? So he would go, ah, boo. And he would do this, right? Well, it was the not so scary Halloween party. And this lady who was dressed as a witch comes up to him and she's like, oh, you're so cute. And he goes, boo. It was fantastic. That was really fun.
So
That is great.
for Bug's 5th birthday, we went like a couple of weeks before her 5th birthday. Her birthday's in November, so all the Christmas stuff was out. So we did, the very merry Christmas, Christmas party with Mickey, whatever it was.
Yep.
So where Nick is pointing at, where his camera's pointing at, how you got the 2 turrets to the left, that's to the left of the castle.
Turrets to the left.
I don't know if
right.
I don't see them down there, but when we were there was like all this shrubbery that was right there.
Oh yeah, those were the fake walls they had put up to keep people out. Yeah.
Well, we were standing like right beside them, and it was right as Elsa come out to freeze the castle. Well, Bug really couldn't see that well, so I didn't know you weren't supposed to do that. Nobody said anything to me. I just see a spot where there's not 50,000 people standing, so we just stepped to the other side of the shrub, and we stood there and watched the rest of that show, just us on the other side of those shrubs, and nobody said a word to us. And
yeah,
I mean, we had like that entire area.
I'm surprised they weren't patrolling that.
Yeah, nobody ever said a word to us.
That's funny.
So do you see right here where that guy is?
Yeah.
That's the spot where I proposed this guy 9.5 years ago.
Aw. Did you guys
Under
go
the
over
fireworks.
and reenact it?
No, we just showed Ellie, and she was like, "Oh, that's cool," and then moved on.
Do you want to go reenact it right now for our viewers?
No, I'm waiting on my wife and kid to show back up. They went and spent the rest of my money.
What if he went to reenact it and she said no this time?
He'd be in a pickle.
I know.
I doubt that would happen. I have bought way too many Disney trips for her, so I think I'm golden for at least a little while.
I don't think golden's the right word. I think you're kind of red. You're looking a little toasty.
Look, yeah, it's a little nipple. I'm surprised my nipples haven't got sunburned, if I'm honest. These shirts, as it gets wetter and more moist and hotter, so they start off like wide, and then they just curl and curl and curl. And
they're supposed to have sleeves, right?
No, it's too damn hot for sleeves, man.
I mean, the shirt came with sleeves.
Oh yes, yes. This was not a Haven nipple shirt. See, it
What's
was
happening, Mike
originally.
Wesolowski? How are you, sir?
Nope, there's a little nip.
Haven Comics.
Yeah.
Look at that. Representing
Yep.
Disney World.
I've worn it twice. I washed clothes, and this is the shirt I chose to wear twice.
That's
You
because
should
you're
you
awesome.
should feel special.
I do feel special. I feel very special.
Hey, you guys want to see a Disney tip? I'm gonna
Sure.
point the camera down. Don't think it's weird. Go to Academy.
Oh yeah, we've got one of those.
Yeah, that's clever.
Yep. I thought it was pretty good. All right, do you guys want me to leave, or do you guys want me to just keep the camera pointed at Magic Kingdom for a moment?
Sorry, Mike. You came on at a bad time.
Yeah, really.
Hey, look, just you're getting it for free tonight, so just make donations to Josh's name at the Pink Pony. Okay.
Wow.
So
Some
what
girls
is
need
the
to eat
plan
too,
for after
Josh.
fireworks?
Sit here until every single human being in the park is gone, and then slowly walk to the bus. And then tomorrow I drive 12 hours home after we have our last breakfast.
Yep.
So,
Where's your breakfast tomorrow morning?
I have no clue. Sky handles that. We've eaten. Where have we eaten?
You ate
Topolino's,
at Ohana. I saw that.
Ohana. Oh crap! Where else?
God, that juice at Ohana for breakfast is so good.
I
You
wasn't
like
a
that
huge fan, if I'm
pod
honest.
Really, I love the Ohana for breakfast.
And Stitch touched me, so that was weird.
Well, you
Topolino's
were
is always
wearing
my
a Stitch
favorite.
hat. What did you expect?
I know. I got it for my kid. I was trying to make her happy. What else
Topolino's
did
has
we
got a great atmosphere.
Yeah, I think they're my favorite. And then my second favorite is I forget where it was at, but it's where you meet Tiana, you meet Cinderella, you get a whole bunch of shrimp. They have the best potato salad.
1900
Oh, you were at
Park Fair.
1900 Park Fair. That's where you got all your
Yeah, that's where it
remade
was.
shrimp. Yeah.
So good.
Yep. 15 pounds worth, huh?
Man, when I tell you guys I had literally 3 full plates full, and the trick is you peel all the shrimp first, and then you have like a pile full of peeled, ready to eat shrimp, and then you just go to town. So good, and that way you're not chewing while you're trying to peel. You can just enjoy it.
Well, hey,
But yeah,
let me run this by you right quick. When Sky and Ellie get back over there, why don't you jump back on the stream, leave them sitting there, and then you take Josh and I to ride Haunted Mansion?
no, I'm not waiting in that line. I think that was the only long line today. It was only like 40 minutes.
That's not
That's
bad
still a
for
hard
that.
no. No, there's really not been any major lines. Honestly, I think the worst, well, not even the worst one, because Splash Mountain, they only have the virtual queue, so you can't even walk into that one. But other than that, I mean, it's really not been too bad at all. Epcot was fine. We walked, like I said, almost 20,000 or 27,000, almost 30,000 steps. It was over 27 and some change. But keep in mind, I'm pushing the stroller with my left hand most of the time, so it's not capturing all my steps,
Yep.
So, I mean, it was ridiculous. And that was Monday. And then
You will
today
walk
we're only.
your feet off at Epcot for sure.
Oh, yeah. Let me see. Let me check today.
1.3 miles just to make the circuit around the
Yeah.
water there in the middle.
Yeah, and we probably did that quite a bit. So, and we rode the gondola a bit. But like even today, I'm only at 18,000 steps. But we still got the whole walk back and stuff. But there's been twice we've hit over 25,000 steps, and then it's been rough.
I meant to ask you the other night, did you at least ride Carousel of Progress, or does that one scare you too?
No, that is my.
You muted yourself. Oh,
Sorry. We got off the Carousel of Progress, got on the People Mover, and then ran down here.
Well,
So
that's the
Carousel
way
of
to do it.
Progress is my favorite. Do you want me to sing it to you guys? It's a
Yeah.
great, big, beautiful tomorrow. And that's all I know. But it is my favorite. Every day. It's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Something to stay
there you go.
away. It is my favorite. Oh, let me show you guys. I did pick up a few pets. Hold on. I know make sure I'm not hitting anybody. So I picked up a pet. My favorite thing in the entire thing at Disney World is the Lion King show.
Over at Animal Kingdom, it's great.
Yes, great. And then Frozen is also actually a pretty good show at Hollywood Studios. It's pretty comical. But anyway, so let me introduce you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
No, we tried to get on Star Wars, and then just like I forget what they call it, but basically when you just act like you're flying Millennium Falcon. We got all the way in, and Ellie freaked out. Yeah, Ellie freaked out, so I had to leave, and Sky wrote it. She likes this stuff more than I do, so I just yelled Ellie. But no, this is my new guy.
Excellent.
Oh, nice. Where'd you get that one at?
Animal Kingdom. He's a cup. He actually should have some lemonade in here.
Well, Hakuna Matata.
Ugh. It's been all day in there, so it's probably pretty gross.
It's probably fermented by now.
I actually worry about that because we have these applesauce pouches for Ellie, and I'm constantly worried and I brought a cooler too, but I am worried that like they've spent somehow too much time and they're gonna like ferment and she's gonna get drunk.
My granddad actually, that happened to them one time. They stopped at the orchard and bought apple cider way back on vacation. And oh, nice. And they, it was in the back of a hot car for several days, and yeah, it fermented.
Oh, it's gross.
Yep. Oh,
nothing like it.
Bucket?
Yep. So we already had Simba. Now I got Timon and Pumbaa.
Well, you got to collect them all.
Like Pokemon. All right. Do you want me to let y'all go, or do you want to stay? Because I will talk all day long. I just don't want to ruin your thing.
Well, that's all good. You ready to talk some comics there, Alan?
Yeah, we can talk some comics.
Oh.
You want to stay on, Nick, and talk?
Real quick, what do you tell me? I don't want to mess up the flow here, but have y'all talked about Boom, or do y'all plan to?
We'll talk about Boom. We can talk about that first, sure.
Yeah, so I saw that text message the other day. I don't see. Okay, so for those of y'all that don't know, Penguin Random House did purchase Boom Studios.
Right.
As long as Boom is just a subsidiary and they continue to run like they have been, I think it'll be fine.
Well, the Ross Ritchie, the guy that owned Boom Studios, him sticking around was not part of the deal. Ooh. So he's gone. Now, what that means outside of that, I don't know. As far as the writers, the editors, the artists, all that stuff, have no idea if they're going to take like editorial control and push it a certain direction or what they're going to do. I don't know, but curious if you guys have any thoughts on Penguin Random House getting into the comic publishing business. They've been a distributor for what, a year and a half, maybe, well, 2 maybe. But they've never been a comic book publisher before. And so now they are both publisher and distributor. So you put them in the same ballpark as Marvel, DC, Mad Cave, AWA. What do you guys think? Do you have any opinion? Do you care? Or is it a wait and see kind of thing? So let us know in the comments what you guys think.
So
I think it's going to be like everything else. It's all going to come down to editorial. What editorial does, no matter who owns it, it all comes down to what editorial does.
So for me,
yeah, go ahead, Nick.
No, I was going to say for me. So, I mean, obviously, I want comics to do well. So I'm hoping I'm going to be positive about it. I hope there's like maybe Penguin, PHR, or PRH. Yeah, PRH, right? Yeah. I hope they just have some type of secret sauce. And it's like, hey, we're going to blow it up. We're going to market it like crazy. We're going to market Boom Books. We're going to make it mainstream. We're going to, because even like Marvel and DC, man, they don't put any of their stuff out there. Like, when's the last time you saw any type of real marketing of a comic book? So, outside of like at a comic shop, I mean, maybe DC recently, and that's only because they're putting it like at the end of, or like James Gunn will put a tweet out about it here and there. But I don't know, maybe there's like some secret sauce. Maybe they'll take and do like some publishing, like some actual advertising for comic books and for local. Here's my other thing is because they do distribute, direct to comic shops, but they also do to like Barnes and Noble and things like that. Are they going to keep looking out for like the comic shops, or are they going to like try to go Barnes and Noble and start putting comics there and that kind of thing? And is it going to hurt you guys? Like, I don't know.
Well, Marvel and DC and everybody else has tried it too. They've all tried putting comics at Walmart, at Books A Million, at Barnes and Noble, and those places are just not set up to handle what modern comic book readers want, because modern comic book readers want a book that's in a 9.8 condition, right? And those places, the books just get manhandled, and they don't care because they don't understand the market, right? So they don't take any care with pulling them out of the boxes, putting them on the shelves, none of that stuff. So they've tried several times, and they have not had any success with that, trying to take that into big bookstores.
We know even that Second and Charles, it's in Madison, when they opened up, they had a fairly decent comic book selection. They even had new comics. That did not last long at all.
You're right.
Well, and Second and Charles is owned by Books A Million.
Yeah. So even there, it really didn't sell. And I know that everybody's got like, oh, this is my favorite story arc, or this is my favorite quote unquote event. But when you look at comic books as a whole, there has truly not been a major event and a major marketing scheme since the death of Superman.
Well, the breaking of the bat was right after Death of Superman.
Yeah.
And they did it for that.
They did it for that. But since then, there really and truly hasn't been. I mean, we're going to talk about these in a minute. I got my Blood Hunt books. I know a couple people want to talk Blood Hunt. This is not a major event. I mean, it's really not. Death of Superman was a major event in comics. And if they really and truly want to go after a legit marketing strategy, they're going to have to do something drastic. Whether it's Marvel or DC, it doesn't matter.
Well, that's not necessarily true. I don't think anyway. You don't have to. You have a limited number of marquee characters that people care about, that they're gonna get excited about if you do something with them, right? So you have to kind of keep some of those silver bullets in your gun. You can't just go expending those. I think you need to spend more on advertising everyday comics, your books like Moon Knight and Nightwing and stuff like that, not advertising the big event, because then people just come in for the big event and then they turn around and leave. You got to get people invested in the long haul, right? Not just get strangers coming in to buy 5 copies of The Death of Superman because they're going to get rich one day off of it. You want people reading comics, and that needs a perpetual marketing push into places where people are, so that they can get that exposure and they go, oh, I need to do this. Because once you get somebody interested and you find something that they like and that they pick up on, like your buddy that you work with, right? Yeah. He found a couple of things. He's like, well, this is really good. And now he's reading it. He doesn't need marketing anymore because he's into it. Right? We want to build out new readers, not just I came in to buy that event book that I don't know anything about, I'm not going to read, and I'm never going to come back and buy anything else.
No, I agree with you. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's got to be some type of way to bring in new readers, right? And, somebody like the Marvel, the DC, the PRH, whoever it is, has got to find a way to really help advertise and push. Marvel spends a small fortune advertising the Marvel Unlimited. I can't tell you last time I've seen an advertisement for, hey, go to your local comic shop, this, that, and another,
Yeah, they don't do that. DC tagged a couple on to the end of some of their shows, or on the end, like a 1-second thing at the end of some of their movies. But that's precious little, and that's more than Marvel does.
I mean, honestly, Ghost Machine, I've seen more marketing out of Ghost Machine in the past few months than I have out of anybody else.
Those Ghost Machine dudes are relentless.
Yeah.
And I have to give them props. And
I am going to critique every single drop of my Ghost Roast coffee when it comes in.
Ivan Rice, the artist, Yvonne, however he pronounces Ivan Rice, he just got his Ghost Machine coffee the other day, and he was like, "Yes, this is all for me." He was very excited.
I'm gonna go live one Saturday morning, and I'm gonna talk some comic books, and I'm gonna have a couple of cups of Ghost Roast, and I'm gonna critique them.
Well,
I
there
take
you
my
go.
coffee very serious. I'm not like Nick. I'm not a quitter.
Have you given it coffee, Nick?
Coffee?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't had coffee since I've probably had 2 coffees since September. I've given up almost all caffeine. Yeah, I've quit a lot here recently.
I can tell you how many cups of coffee I've had in my entire life.
2.
That'd be too many.
Really? You've never had coffee once?
I've tasted coffee and it's hideous. I have never drunk a cup of coffee in my life, and I never will.
And see,
Not unless I'm dying, and that's the only thing available.
And see, I'm the type of coffee drinker that other coffee drinkers look down on because I don't put anything in it. I want it hot and bitter. Jet black coffee. That is the way to drink coffee.
Agreed. Although I do love a latte.
You look like a Frappuccino, man.
Now we know what a Frappuccino man looks like, I guess.
Yes, we do.
No, it's all about the hot vanilla latte from Starbucks.
You know what occurred to me?
They've actually done that before.
Yes, they have.
It was it fried pie? Was that it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, and the problem was they had the fried pie variants, and as soon as they hit the shelf, they wanted to jack the price up on their own variant.
Huh.
And it was like, and you could even go into a local Second and Charles, and you would see like 500 fried pie variants of a random Wolverine comic, and they were wanting like $15-16 for it. And you're like, well, wait a minute, you couldn't even sell it at $3.99. What makes you think you're going to sell it for $15 now? But they were trying to recoup their money off of fried pie.
I guess so.
I guess we lost Nick.
Well, that's all right. Let's talk some comics.
All right, so we'll go ahead and jump into this. And I think these are the only ones that I brought with me. I've got a stack, and I'm going back a couple of weeks because we really hadn't talked comics in a couple of weeks.
Well, we had a holiday last week.
Yeah, we had a holiday last week, and we had an awesome interview the week before that. Y'all need to go check that out.
And he said he'll come back on the show and talk some more because we barely scratched the surface.
Yep. Oh, yeah. No, Mike, you're 100% right. A lot of those covers were not good covers at all. It wasn't just the Vampirella. It was, I did not see one fried pie variant that I liked on any level. But I'm going to start with, and I know this came out a few weeks ago, Blood Hunt 4.
I have a stack too.
Good. To me, and I know there's people that's liked it, but Blood Hunt did not get good. I've liked a couple of the tie-ins, but Blood Hunt did not get good until issue 4.
I thought issue 1 was good. Issue 2 was okay. Issue 3 was kind of filler, and 4 was really good.
And to be honest with you, yes, I've been picking up the Red Band editions. And
there's been nothing in any of them since the first one that would justify it.
No, there's not. In fact, you're going to see more. If you're looking for blood and gore, you're going to see more in Spawn. It's just that simple. There's nothing that truly stands out. It says it right there. Explicit content. There's no explicit content. I don't know what was added to this particular issue, but nothing phenomenal about it, unless maybe it was this page. But the reason why I felt like issue 4 is the best one so far is literally, it wasn't the last page. It's in here. I was actually just at it. It was literally these pages right here, where Khonshu brings all the Moon Knights.
Hang on, I'm going to embiggen you.
So I'm embiggen. But they break Khonshu out of the Asgardian prison. Full-blown spoilers. Turn it off now if you don't want to hear them. Khonshu brings back the moon, but he brings back every single past Moon Knight. You're thinking, so he's brought an army with him. Okay, that's cool. I like that idea. But then you turn the page, and what Khonshu said is literally for lack of a better way to put it, it's a hell yeah moment in the comic book. He says, and they're led by my resurrected son, my Moon Knight. He brought Mark back with him. I mean, this is the beginning of the return of Mark Spector. And I mean, that's what we've been waiting on. When you look at Blood Hunt, ultimately Blood Hunt is a Moon Knight story.
That's exactly what I think. Here's how I think this whole thing went down, right? I think Jed McKay was in a meeting with editorial, and he said, here's the story I'm going to do. And they said, wait a minute. We could expand this to cover everything.
Yep.
And he said, okay. I think that's how it went down. He's like, well, I won't say no to that.
No, but that comes to the first, and I'm literally doing these in the order that I think you should be reading them in, as far as just these couple of issues right here.
Yep.
Next, you would have Moon Knight issue number 6,
or Vengeance of Moon Knight.
Yeah, Vengeance of Moon Knight. Sorry. But you've got the Midnight Mission, which that's what everybody's talking about. I mean, it's, Midnight Mission plays heavily into this. Soldier, and her name literally just left me, an 8-ball. Crap, I cannot think of her name right now.
It just left me too, and that ticks me off.
They're out doing their thing. They're trying to rescue survivors. It's a good story. She's not going to leave one behind, but how do we end it? The moon has reappeared, and they don't know why.
Yep.
But then that leads us to, and I loved it on so many levels. We've got Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu 0.
That cover is gorgeous.
Oh, this cover is amazing. But the entire book is literally narrated by Khonshu. It has some absolutely beautiful art.
It's all splash pages.
Yeah, I mean, everything.
Pretty much all splash pages.
And I mean, that's literally the first page of the book right there. But it's literally Khonshu, and he's telling you who he is.
Well, what's to the page with her on it, because he says her name.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Well, actually, he says this one. He says, this one wears my symbol. She battles her own kind to protect innocence.
Well, he won't say her name because she's a vampire.
Yeah. But I mean, he's literally telling you, hey, these are the major players. These are the people. He does call Soldier by his name, even though Soldier's a vampire.
Yep, that's true.
He even calls out, the psychotherapist. He calls everyone out in this book. Hunter's Moon, everybody. If that is not an amazing shot of Tigra.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way that was done. And then he gets to his Moon Knight, and he calls out all 3 personalities. And he's telling you, this is what we're doing. This is who they are. I'm bringing them to put an end to this. Khonshu went from the big bad in Age of Khonshu to now the ultimate savior of the world.
Well, he was trying to do something good in Age of Khonshu, right? He was trying to stop Mephisto from taking over. He had just gone nuts.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Khonshu just had a little episode.
And honestly, Age of Khonshu to me, and Granted, I am a little biased because I do, I love Moon Knight, but Age of Khonshu is one of the best events they've had in a long time.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I mean, it was. I have not told anyone about that book that did not pick up the graphic or the trade paperback, read it, and fall in love with it. It was just that
awesome.
good.
I just love showing people the first issue.
Yeah.
That sequence of fights.
Now, this one right here, this is the one that you and I disagreed on.
Well, before you get to that, let's talk about something else, because he has a question. He says, would he call Blade by his name? And we have found out, and you kind of skipped through this, but we have found out that the villain of Blood Hunt, who by all reports appears to be Blade, is in fact not Blade. Blade has been taken over by somebody else.
He, is it Varian?
An Atlantean sorcerer. Like from old Atlantis.
Yeah, like before it sunk.
Yeah.
And he is literally the first vampire. And that was one thing that I was going to ask you about. I believe his name was Varian or something like that. But he makes a comment that did not make a ton of sense, or either I just read it wrong. He was never meant to be a vampire. It was like he did not finish the transformation process.
Something like that. That's how I read it.
So if he would have finished the transformation process, would there have ever been any vampires?
Don't know.
I mean, to me, that kind of opened a can of worms.
It did. I agree.
I do like the way Dracula was portrayed.
I did too.
I'm enjoying that. To me, this book right here is a true Red Band caliber book, and I don't even think that this is Red Band. I think it was just the way it was on the shelf.
Yep, I agree.
And that is Werewolf by Night, Blood Hunt 1. I mean,
I love that cover.
Look at the cover. I mean, the cover screams Red Band. There is a part where he literally wakes up after transforming back into a human, and he's cuddling with a human leg that's not attached to anything. That's legit Red Band stuff. But it wasn't a Red Band book, and this was.
Yeah. So let's hear your thoughts about that Werewolf by Night. What was your take on it?
I liked it. I liked the art. I thought the art looked really good in it. I did like the fact that we revisit him, because I don't think whatever his name is, Jake Gomez. I don't think we've seen him since that miniseries, a year or two ago?
Right.
I like that we revisit him. I like the fact that he even called out some of the other werewolves that were in that other series.
Mm-hmm.
He was going somewhere to blow off steam. I enjoyed the whole
theme park in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, a theme park in the middle.
Who's going to build that? Who's going to go to that? That whole idea seems stupid.
I could see it if it was a failed attempt.
That clearly was not the case.
Yeah.
Given how huge it was and all this. I mean, somebody sunk a lot of money into that.
But at the same time, we really don't know how close to the Indian reservation he is. So, I mean, I'm kind of willing to overlook that part of it. I enjoyed the whole witchcraft portion of it. I like the way the supernatural and everything was pulled together. Then the fact of basically the moon going out and it's just total darkness, and he can no longer contain and no longer control the werewolf on any level. And I mean, even he's pretty much making comments at the end of it. Oh God, what have I done? But when he sees that full moon, because once again, Khonshu bringing the moon back into it, plays into this book also, it just ramps him up next level. I mean, it was like a power surge for him also. And it was just, to me, it was a good throwback to old horror movie monsters. That's probably why I enjoyed this book.
I did not care for this book. I wanted to like it. I was excited for it, but it felt to me like the plot points were all chosen by an AI and just like kind of random, and they made no sense. Like you got a bunch of teenagers in an old theme park doing a seance. There's no lead up, there's no build up to who they are, why they're there, how they would know any magic of any kind, what they think they're doing. And it's not like they're just playing with a Ouija board or something either. They're doing magic, right? And then they bring back the ghost of Uncle What's His Name, and oh, it's not really the ghost; he's a demon. But he's
That
also
did
the
get
ghost.
a little confusing there for a second.
And it was just one thing after the other, and none of it made any sense. It was like, what is going on? It really bugged me. So much of that book just really bugged me because it felt like somebody threw darts at a board and said, "I'll take that plot point and that plot point and that plot point, and then I'll consider weaving them together with a couple of coordinating conjunctions, but no real thread." It bugged me. I wanted to like it. I was excited for it, and it just ended up irritating me.
I mean, as far as the whole seance thing, I understood it, but I felt it was a little bit rushed.
It needed setup, and it had none.
Yeah, it needed a little more fleshing out than what they gave you.
The book should have opened with that.
The whole
with them lead this with the setup to that. It should have opened with it, and it didn't.
They should have done a better job explaining that a demon was posing as the dead uncle. They should have done a better job explaining that. Because
why those kids knew magic and what they were doing and why he wants to bring his uncle back in the first place. It was just a bunch of goofy stuff to me. It needed a lot of setup, and we got zero.
At the same time, though, there was one thing in that book that we could still find out more about what was happening at that amusement park, because at the end of it, Jake is going off into the desert to figure himself out again, and it says "the end?" ?
Yep.
So, I mean, there's still more to come, and I do look forward to seeing Jake Gomez. And
none of what is going to come is going to establish the setup for what should have been in the front.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I've been kind of disappointed in Blood Hunt, because some of the stuff that I've read, it's almost like there were some titles that they were, oh crap, we got to do something for Blood Hunt right quick. And they
this has nothing to do with Blood Hunt. This story could have been told without Blood Hunt.
Yeah.
This story just wasn't well done.
It could have. Honestly, this should have been a mini series leading up to the theme park.
That would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Most of the other Blood Hunt tie-ins are 3 issues. This is just a one shot.
Maybe 2 issues. I mean, 2 issues could have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't have to be anything major.
But this was just poorly written. For me, I just thought it was not well done at all. The art was okay. It had moments that were really good, and it had moments that were not good. So I would give it an average, maybe slightly above average on the art. I really like that cover. But yeah, that comic I was really excited for, and really let me down. So I was disappointed.
I understand everything you're saying, but it was one of those that I just really enjoyed it because it was Werewolf by Night. It was Jake Gomez, because I thought that they were going to leave kind of him behind on the Indian reservation and move forward with Jack Russell, because the last 2 Werewolf by Night books we've gotten have pretty much involved, or the last several stories have involved him and Elsa Bloodstone.
Yep. And the next that's coming up has got Jack Russell too, but I think you're going to get both of them together, I think.
And I
think they're building to them coming together.
And I do look forward to that. But maybe that's why I liked it, is because I was not expecting Jake Gomez. I thought we were done with that character. So when I realized it was him, I was like, okay, cool. And then that cover pretty much solidified me liking it.
The cover was great. I 100% give you that.
Yeah, that's just an amazing cover. Next up, going back a couple of weeks, but we've got Godzilla, Here There Be Dragon, Sons of Giants. This is Here There Be Dragons 2. I liked it, but bring back the pirates. I liked the pirates. I thought the pirates were cool. But this one, they're setting up it's some type of secret society that worships the kaiju, and you're getting more history and things that have happened in the past. So, I mean, there's pretty much your secret society, but our coin from where we go? There we go. Our coins that showed up in Here There Be Dragons 1, they're kind of central to it again in this one. I liked it. I like Godzilla comic books. I mean, what's not to like when you turn a page and you see something like that? But I do hope that we get back to the pirates soon. The pirates are what made the first one fun.
It was the combination of Godzilla and pirates that made the first one awesome. And if you haven't read that book, we have the trade up at the shop, and I strongly recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great book and a fun read. Now, since I've got so many, I'm going to kind of go through this a little quick. Next up, and it seemed
like I said, I got a few too.
Yeah, no, I'm going to try to fly through these.
A lot of them will be overlap, I'm sure.
Next up, and it seems like it took forever for this to come out. That is No One issue number 9.
Yeah, it did take forever. It's what, a year?
Here comes your major spoiler. If you don't want to hear it, this is definitely the time to mute me. But he does admit at the end of it that Aaron is No One. Aaron has always been No One, but I don't believe it.
I don't either.
How did Aaron pull off what he pulled off when he was in jail?
Yep.
So if Aaron is still, could Aaron have been the original No One? Yes. But he had somebody helping him. 100%. So who's helping him?
It's at least 2 people, I think.
I do like that we are coming full circle, because if you see, Aaron is headed toward the warehouse district.
Yep.
So I mean, it's still been very enjoyable. It just took too long to come out in between issues.
It really did. But this issue was it's like a brush fire had been going for a little bit, and somebody threw gas on it, and it suddenly just went. Yeah, No One number 9 was a lot.
There's supposed to be what, 10 or 12 of these? 10. This is going to be one of those that as soon as issue 10 comes out, and y'all have the option of ordering the trade, if you don't already have it, you need to jump on it, because this is one of those series that is best read all at one time.
Agreed.
It's a great series. I wouldn't mind seeing an ongoing like Netflix or Amazon special about it.
It would be so well suited to that.
Yeah, especially if they did it in the style, if it was Netflix and it was done in the style that they did Daredevil and Punisher.
Yep.
As far as the realism and the grittiness of it, this would work so well for that. I don't think it could be supported as a movie.
I don't think I don't think the format of it would work as well for a movie.
Yeah,
it should be a series.
Definitely long form content is the way to go with this one. Next is, I mean, I don't know what to say about this dude anymore. I mean, it's every time I just don't know. It's driving me nuts how good this book is. And it's good because of David Pepos.
Oh, Daredevil.
He told us he was going to do something.
Space Ghost, yeah.
I mean, he told us he was going to give Space Ghost a legit backstory. and he was going to give us true adventure stories, fights. He warned us, and I still wasn't prepared for how good this is. I still wasn't. I'm still blown away by the fact that at 50 years of age, I finally know what Space Ghost's real name is. You find out his real name in issue 2, and then one of the villains calls him by his real name in issue 3. So you're just kind of like, what? They're only on the 3rd issue. I cannot recommend Space Ghost, especially if you're a Gen Xer like me. I cannot recommend Space Ghost enough. It's been great. The art has been fun. There are definitely aspects of it that, yes, it's modernized with the way that it looks, but you'll see certain poses or certain shots like this one right here that reminds you of Space Ghost when you were a kid. I mean, it's just it's been nostalgic, it's been fun, it's been a great book, and it's a must read. I need to hold.
I don't know if we've got any of those books in our stacks, but we'll find out.
Yeah, the Ghost is definitely back in business. This one right here, I'm so glad that they're not doing anything truly Blood Hunt related, because I think it would mess up the flow of this book if they did, and that's Daredevil.
Agreed.
Daredevil has been a slow burn for 10 issues, and it's been slowly building with all these, the 7 deadly sins and everything. And the way this one actually ends with basically Kingpin defeating Daredevil and throwing him down an elevator shaft.
Not the first time.
Yeah, not the first time, but it ends in a way that makes sense for Daredevil not to be in Blood Hunt.
Yep.
So, I mean, I would love to tell y'all to pick this up. I will always recommend Daredevil, but the only way you need to read issue 10 is if you've read issues 1 through 9 plus the giant-sized Daredevil. I mean, that's the only way you're going to really understand what's going on in this. And y'all know it was well documented. We were worried to death about Zdarsky leaving Daredevil and Ahmed taking it over. Ahmed's done a really, really, really fantastic job weaving an intricate story. I mean, it's been really good. Next, and we can probably hit 2 at the same time. We've got
Rook Daniel Major.
What we got?
Daniel Major's in the house.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it has been a slow burn, but I mean, it's been really good, especially when you figure out who the 7 deadly sins actually belong to. I thought that was just a stroke of genius. Rook Exodus 3.
Rook is just getting better by the issue.
It really is.
I am really enjoying that.
Goes and throws us a curveball, or at least threw me a curveball, and I'm trying to get to it. And that is, and Josh is going to make fun of me because literally the second I read this book, I was texting about it. Right here in the very corner. Right here. No. Well, I mean, here's a better shot of her right here. Her name is Ko. She is the warden of Pythons. And just based on the look of her alone, I need that fight between Ko and Direwolf immediately.
It's Ka.
Ka?
Like Ka from Jungle Book.
Ka. Oh, that is another A.
It's Ka.
Oh, okay. But still, the way it's only issue 3. If you're not reading Rook Exodus, you're denying yourself. I mean, just freaking amazing.
The story is getting better with every issue, and the art is absolutely superlative. It is top notch.
Yep. Next we had Redcoat issue 3.
Boy, that one, did you spend like I did, just looking in that room full of all those artifacts at what all's in there?
Yeah, and the main reason why you do it is you're trying to figure out what Jeff Johns has hidden in that art somewhere.
Well, like you mean that's not Jeff Johns on art. That's Brian Hitch.
Well, I mean, as far as like direction, hey, we need to hide this in there. We need to hide that.
But like Thor's hammer is in there. I mean, you're like, well, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Benedict Arnold has collected all this stuff, and it's incredible.
And I mean, and this is the page that he's talking about, or one of them.
Yep.
But honestly, Benedict.
I mean, notice you got a T-Rex skeleton and a dragon skeleton.
Benedict Arnold could have his own miniseries.
Oh, he really should.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting closer to the secret society to figure out exactly who these people are in the red cloaks. Red Coat is just a fun book.
It really is.
It's a legit adventure. So I'm enjoying Ghost Machine, period. Which was weird because when they did the one shot, I did not like the Rook one shot.
I agreed.
But getting the actual book in my hand,
the story was not engaging.
Yeah, the one shot was not engaging, just the little bit that you got. But this right here, oh, freaking awesome. Next up, I've got, and this one's been rough. I mean, this one will flat out make you nervous because you know what's coming. Nottingham, issue 13.
You're only now at 13?
Yeah.
Because 15's out.
We've got, 14 hadn't come out yet. I ain't got 14 or 15 yet. I don't think they've come out yet.
I'm pretty sure they have.
I'll check League of Comic Geeks here in a minute. But we got a major death in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a major, major death in this one. And done by the hands of who was supposed to have been his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to spoil it for y'all, but my goodness, if you're not reading this one, oh my God. Next up, and this was so much better, and I mean 100 times better than what we got for Free Comic Book Day.
No, yeah.
If you have not picked this next book up, I say go ahead.
You haven't said what it is yet, but I'm pretty sure I know. We're both going to hold it up at the same time.
Are you ready?
See if I'm right. Yep. 1, 2, 3. No.
Oh, no. I hadn't got to that one yet, but I got it on my thing.
Well, I've also got Gotchaman in my stack.
Yeah, this
That's
was
hilarious.
100 times better than what we got for Free Comic Book Day.
So much better.
I mean, I did like the little story about Gotchaman in the plane and his father. I thought that was kind of cool. Huh? But this was really, really good.
And the art is so on point.
It feels like the old cartoon. I mean, it legit feels like the cartoon.
It's modernized a little bit, but it sure does feel like the old cartoon.
I like the secondary ninja science team waiting in the wings.
Yep.
I like that competition there. I like them fighting each other, and they were training. I mean, it was just a good read. Next up on my list, because I know you got a bunch, I've got Scarlet issue 2.
Oh, so good.
So many questions, though. I mean, so many questions. I mean, where the suicide mission that they send her on, and she's even telling you it's a suicide mission. And what does she do? She doesn't. But I'm still not seeing how Snake Eyes is going to play into this.
You're not supposed to. They have specifically said Snake Eyes is going to be held back for a while.
I get that, but at the same time, you've already entered. Are they going to introduce Snake Eyes like they originally introduced Storm Shadow way back in G.I. Joe 21? You know, I mean, is he going to come out of nowhere And then we'll find out that he was always lurking in the background and stuff like this. You just never saw him.
You never know, but it's sure going to be a fun ride, isn't it?
And oh god, yeah. I mean, it's driving me nuts trying to figure out how they're going to do it. This has definitely taken very old, comfortable, beloved characters and given them a new life somewhere else. And I'm still wondering if one day we are going to get that, at least with this, or are we going to get the Snake Eyes Scarlet romance?
I think so. They know what to keep for the most part. I still have some Cobra Law issues. I understand it in the context of the Energon universe and why they're doing it. But I think they know, they've got their finger on the pulse pretty well of what works and what they want to keep and what they don't. And I think they're gonna do right by Snake Eyes and Scarlet.
I still can't get over Snake Eyes talking in
their regular,
in Real American Hero. And then the fact that he actually says a complete sentence without Scarlet pretty much telling him to shut up in 307, I thought was great.
I have to tell you, the G.I. Joe Real American Hero book, the not Energon related one, but the other one, the standalone book, man, Larry Hama has been on fire.
Oh, it's so good.
And Paul Pelletier, I love Chris Mooneyham's art, and I would love to see him come back, but Paul Pelletier is holding down the fort pretty well.
Yeah, no, Daniel, I agree wholeheartedly. It's we're getting a different story with the same characters, and they're honoring those characters' legacy. You know, it's not like they're just retconning everything for the sake of retconning it.
I'm hoping a character or two characters I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting in the Energon universe version of G.I. Joe. Kind of offshoot characters that we have not seen either of in forever because they're both dead. Dr. Venom, the predecessor to Dr. Mindbender, who was truly unhinged. And also, I would like to see Quinn. I always liked Quinn. Quinn the Eskimo. I always liked that dude. I would love to see a G.I. Joe classified figure of him. But I would love to see Quinn make an entrance in this book.
Oh, well, did you ever figure out who the blonde was on the cover?
No, they haven't told us.
Chameleon.
Interesting.
It's going to be Chameleon. That's who everybody says it's going to be.
That doesn't mean that's true. That's a lot of speculation.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody's saying it's the new Chameleon.
It could be.
So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to see how they do Lady J and Flint.
Yep.
Oh, and what's his name? The one that everybody hated, but you kind of secretly rooted for. You just didn't tell anybody you was rooting for him. Oh, it was a Falcon.
Lieutenant Falcon?
Yeah.
Ugh. I was never secretly rooting for him.
Please, you know you'd buy that classified figure in a heartbeat.
The classified figure has come and gone, and I did not.
No. I'll make sure I find you one.
Do not bother.
So my last two kind of go hand in hand on some level. And that was Batman issue 150.
So,
it was an so
good.
Absolute Power tie-in, but the tie-in is not...
It's the backup story.
Yeah, it's the backup story. And it's a good backup story. It really is. Because we see... You kind of starting to see what Batman's plan is for that. But the main story is... Even if you're not reading Batman... You can read the main story as this as a standalone story, and it's fantastic.
well worth reading.
Yeah, well worth reading.
You get to see a little bit of Batman doing something good with Bruce Wayne's resources.
Yep.
And you get to see it through a really interesting lens. It was a really brilliant story. That whole concept, just so smart and very humanizing.
And then next up, I've got Absolute Power.
Oh, we need to
I'm
talk
like
about that
you.
for a minute.
Yeah, we'll be talking about this one for a minute. I'm like you. I'm kind of tired of Amanda Waller,
So tired.
but the way this is played out and what they've done with her so far and how they've set this up, you do get just a little bit of it in this book. But for people that are not reading Green Arrow, Absolute Power technically starts in Green Arrow.
See, I have not been reading Green Arrow. And so the events of Absolute Power and what happens toward the end of that first issue,
Yep,
that came out of left field to me. I was like, whoa. When it turns out that Ollie has betrayed everybody,
yep.
that shocked me. I was like, I mean, it's consistent with how he's been all these years in its own way, but holy smokes, that came out of nowhere for me.
And the sad Green Arrow has been a great book. I mean, just an absolutely great book. But I think I don't know. I think we're in the teens now. The problem with Green Arrow right now is in order to understand where Ollie's at in his life and why he just made this decision to help Waller, you've got to start at number 1. Because it's been another slow burn. It's been a really, really, really good series. And honestly, it was not Ollie that was helping her. It was actually Arsenal that was helping her because he got caught when he was looking for Ollie. So the only way Ollie could actually save his quote unquote family and save some other people was he had to agree to help Amanda Waller.
To betray the Justice League, really. And,
yeah,
well,
and
all superheroes.
And he does, and that's one thing that Ollie goes through in the Green Arrow series when he finds out that there is no more Justice League. In the series, there's at least one issue where he goes to every single member of this of the Justice League. He goes to, Superman, Batman, Hawkgirl, Wonder Woman. He goes to everybody. And he's basically, why? What happened? And all of them are like, look, the Titans have got this under control. We're all going to do our own thing now. And he does not accept that very well. So, but the Green Arrow series yeah, I know it's kind of a background series for DC and a lot of people don't really and truly pay attention to it, but it's kind of been one of my favorite DC series. And I absolutely hate that Josh Williamson is leaving. I mean, absolutely hate it, but I understand where he's going, so I can't be too mad at him.
Let's talk about how this book opens up.
All right.
Because the first thing that happens in this book is critical to setting the stage for Absolute Power. Right?
Yep.
First thing that happens, essentially, you see Superman is stopping some low-rent thugs doing some bad stuff. They're trying to get away with a helicopter from a rooftop. And he's flying there in the sky. He's telling these guys, like, look, they're normal guys, right? And he's like, look, just put down the guns. Let's come back in. And one of these guys shoots at Superman. And the other guy's like, no, don't do that. You'll just make it worse. And it's at that moment that the bullets go right through Superman. And not like they missed through him or something. Like they penetrate his flesh. and he just looks down at his hand and the blood, and he's like, "What?" And then he just, because he's flying, he's hovering above, outside over this building, and then the next thing you see, this full page spread of Superman just plummeting to his death because he just got shot through the chest. And you're like, "What in the world?" And then you see a couple of other heroes, and they land, and suddenly people are throwing rocks at them and beating them to death. And it just starts happening all around the world. Superheroes are losing their powers, and the public has turned on them. And every time a superhero comes out of hiding, bam, they get hit and they lose their powers. And so you say absolute power. The power is not in the part of the superheroes. The power is in Waller's hands.
What?
It's that whole power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is. And it's impressive. So superheroes have been coming out to come to people's rescue, and they're realizing, too late that, oh no, every superhero that comes out, they lose their powers.
I absolutely love the fact that everything happens so fast in the beginning of it that the reader truly does not understand what's going on. As far as the whole propaganda campaign and everything that's going on with the media, and then how it kind of starts piecing that together for you. I thought that was really cool the way that was done. This right here, this shot of Ollie,
oh yeah,
has got to be one of my favorite shots of this entire book. I mean, the entire book, the art's beautiful in it. I mean, there's no doubt
Dan
about
Mora
that.
kills it on the art, and Mark Waid absolutely kills it with the writing.
Yeah, one of my biggest questions about this entire book, and I believe it's when Amanda Waller goes public.
Yep.
Or it's right around there somewhere. She even cut them off from the multiverse so no one can come help.
Yep.
How do you cut the multiverse off from each other? I've got that's to me, that's a question that has.
She has a mother box. She can do a lot.
Yeah,
she has a mother box. She's got the Queen Brainiac.
Yep.
She's got Failsafe. She can do a lot. And the public stuff, the perception of the public, they haven't really brought him out in this yet. But it's got to be the Sovereign from Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it would make sense with everything that's going on in Wonder Woman. I did really enjoy how there's a lot going on in this book that if you weren't reading other books, you would not understand where these characters have come from.
Maybe. I'm not reading Action or Batman. I haven't read any of the Brainiac stuff. I am reading Wonder Woman, but that character, if it is the Sovereign, hasn't shown up yet. Batman's the one I've read, and Failsafe comes from that. But yeah, I don't think you have to have read any of the other stuff for this to make sense.
Yeah, you don't have to. But as far as like Queen Brainiac is concerned, I am reading Superman, so I know where that character comes from. It's nice kind of having that background, but you don't have to have read it to enjoy this.
No, I agree, because I came at this mostly ignorant of the details of a lot of those things, and I thought this was fantastic.
Yeah, and as far as like Amanda Waller and Peacemaker and whatever Peacemaker's sidekick's name is, they've been in Green Arrow for several issues now in the background.
Got it.
And in fact, I want to say they've actually popped up the first time in Green Arrow right after Night Terrors.
Okay.
So, I mean, Amanda Waller's been floating around the pages of Green Arrow for a while. That's why how we said earlier that Blood Hunt is actually a Moon Knight story.
Yes.
I'm wondering if Absolute Power is actually a Green Arrow story. And
Interesting.
The guy who's going to end up saving basically all of the superpowered gods is going to be a guy that's just good with a bow and arrow.
If that turns out to be the case, I'm going to go out on a limb and say but Oliver Queen is going to die. I think he's going to die.
I don't know if he's going to die, but it would be a fitting end just simply because what Josh Williamson has done with the Green Arrow title right now. To me, with him leaving, it makes sense to kill Ollie.
I suspect that'll happen because it sounds like he's setting it up for Arsenal to take over for him.
Yeah.
Of course, they would have to change the name of this posthumously to Crisis of Absolute Power.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I can't believe they didn't call it some type of Crisis of Power or something.
I don't think that Lex Luthor is involved as a Deus Ex Machina. He might show up, but I don't think so.
No, with what's going on in Superman, I don't see Lex being a looming figure in the background. Hunter, there's another girl that's like dressed just like Peacemaker, and cannot think of what her name was. But I mean, it's literally the female version of Peacemaker who's been running around in the Green Arrow books with him.
Black Noir is from The Boys, unless I'm mistaking it. I don't think Black Noir is Peacemaker's sidekick. Am I wrong? I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Because he was one of the seven,
I never got into The Boys.
All right, next up. Hit me with the, there you go. If you're not reading this book, Spectacular Spider-Man with Peter Parker and Miles Morales, what are you even doing with your life? This is fantastic. This is so freaking good. It is so much fun. This is Spider-Man as he is meant to be. It's cross-generational, and it's fun. It is non-stop fun. Every issue, fun. Thought-provoking? Sometimes, yes. But fun. This is what you want in Spider-Man book. It's fun. Read it. Talk about Blood Hunt tie-ins. This one was...
Yeah, I'm not reading
the first issue was good. This one was even better. And the next issue is the last one. It's a 3-issue limited series. I'm really curious to see where it goes. But this is the Midnight Suns getting back together and saying Blade has turned on everybody. We're going to have to go take him out. And he's our friend. And then Blade shows up.
Not Eagly.
That does not go well for them. It's Vigilante is the guy he's running around with in the show. Eagly is the eagle, obviously. Now, this one you probably haven't picked up yet. I think you'll be picking it up this week.
Yes, I will definitely be picking that one up this week.
The Hunger and the Dusk, Book 2, Number 1. So the second story arc. It's good to be back. There's nothing happy that happens in this issue. This is not a happy issue. But it's so good. It's so, so good. Strongly recommend. We have the trade of the first 6 issues at the shop. And you should read that. You should read this. It's really good. If you like a good fantasy story, it's awesome. This one, as like you, I have been burned by the X-Men too many times, and I carry too many scars from the X-Men over the past 25 years. But I had high hopes for this because it's written by Jed McKay. Where'd he go? There he is. It's written by Jed McKay. And I think that dude's pretty spectacular. And then the other series that's coming out is written by Gail Simone. So I've got high hopes there. My problem with this book is I think it's trying to be too many things all at the same time. It's trying to like tidy up all of the craziness that was the Krakoa era. And it's trying to pick up where that left off. And it's not as clean a break as I wanted from the Krakoa era at all. And it really, you got the impression it's really going to focus on these characters. And it kind of does. But it also has a whole lot more characters in it. And that's a bad sign right off the jump. It's like too many people. Too many people. So we'll see what he does. I'll give it another couple of issues. But right now, I'm not super
Her
thrilled
name
about
is called Peace Wrecker.
Peace Wrecker.
Yeah.
Okay. Ultimates number 2. When I read Ultimates number 1, I had to keep checking it to be sure that it wasn't written by Jonathan Hickman. Because it wasn't written by Jonathan Hickman, but it sure felt like it was written by Jonathan Hickman. This book has the Ultimates attacking the guy who's more or less a tyrant sitting in the White House, and this continues to be so good. Really good book. Really, really good book. Do not sleep on the Ultimates books. That's a really good cover.
Is that all you're going to say about it? It's a really good cover?
Well, I already said what I was going to say about it. Union Jack the Ripper number 2. It still feels kind of like we stepped into the middle of what was the zombie movie with Simon Pegg?
Shaun of the Dead.
It feels like we stepped into the middle of that, but really serious, and with no. We didn't know that we were like there was no setup for it. So the story's okay, but it's not what I would have wanted. I think the third issue is going to have some interesting stuff in it, but we'll see. This is the Scotty Young cover of Vengeance of Moon Knight number 6, which I'm betting we'll never see the Vengeance of Moon Knight costume again, drawn by Scotty Young.
Yep.
So I just thought that was interesting. It made me laugh. Jed McKay is just absolutely killing it with Moon Knight, and I love it. This one honestly surprised me. This is a limited series that is set after X-Men. I want to say, does it say in here X-Men number 297? Or not 297, 227 or something back in the day. So back in the 80s. Late 80s, early 90s, maybe. I think it was late 80s. It's when this story is set. There was a time period in that, or there was a few issues during that run where Wolverine left the team to go do something on his own. And then they never said what he did or where he went. He just showed back up one day. I get the very clear impression that Chris Claremont intended to put this into the regular X-Men book, and it just never happened. And it looks and reads just like an X-Men book from the late 80s. It's an absolutely epic fight between Wolverine and Sabretooth. And then at the very end, of course, there's a little twist where you go, wait a minute. Surprisingly good Wolverine deep cut. very odd to have this story set 35 years later, but good. We talked about Redcoat number 3. That was super fun. Really enjoyed it. I gave this one a shot.
What'd you think about it?
Mainly because it's written by a couple of people, Kurt Busiek and Fabian Nicieza, and I really like both of them. I really wanted to like this, and I really didn't like it. I'd be curious for you to read it and tell me what you think. Kind of like the way somebody says, they open the milk and say, "Does this smell bad to you?" I want to see if you think it's not good or if I'm missing something. I mean, it's Kurt Busiek and Fabian Nicieza. Those dudes are both amazing. I would have thought that this would be spectacular. How could it not be? And I read it and I was like, ugh. I was not enthused. I wasn't excited. I wasn't hooked. It was just a thing that I read. So yeah, I would love for you to read it and tell me what you think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can tell me what I should have seen that I didn't see. Agreed with you about this. So good. Agreed with you about this. Holy smokes. So good.
Yeah, Hunter, Fantastic Four 22 coming out. If you've not read 21, you really need to read it because 22 has kind of got to be a direct continuation of it. Yep. The way they ended 21. And it's 21's a Blood Hunt tie-in also. And honestly, Fantastic Four is one of the top 3 books that Marvel has right now.
Oh, it's no pun intended. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
Ultimate Black Panther is flying under the radar for so many people, and it is such a good book. It's a little weird that his costume, his mouth is exposed, like his lower jaw is exposed. It's a weird costume for him. But this story is really good. The artwork is gorgeous. And you get to meet Ultimate Storm. I really like Ultimate Storm. Ultimate Storm is truly a weather witch in Africa. And she is amazing.
Now, was she in Ultimate Invasion?
Don't think so. I don't think so.
Because if I remember correctly, the only thing they really talked about as far as that part of the world is concerned was Khonshu.
Whoa!
Okay, I mean, look, Khonshu is so powerful that just mentioning his name knocked Josh's camera over and froze the entire screen. I mean, y'all need to recognize Khonshu is the reason for everything.
I don't know what I just did, but my computer just about fell off the desk here.
I need one of the Kay Lisa posted, "We'll be right back." I need to find that jingle that says, "We'll be right back after these messages." Hey, kind of do your hand in and out in front of your camera because it's like.
Oh, you got it backwards. You got it backwards. It was after these messages.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Yeah, I think that was all the comics I wanted to talk about this time. I do have a picture I want to bring over and show off because I know that it's going to make you very happy. And tomorrow is Friday, so you'll be swinging by the shop theoretically, which will be good because that way you won't have to miss it.
Hey, come come out of the stream and come back into it, because after the laptop tipped over, you keep freezing up, you're pixelated, and your voice is off and from the picture. We'll see. I need to get a better camera. I'll break down and buy a better camera one day. I'll see if so since Josh is doing that right quick, I'm going to move on to something else. We don't talk about this much on the stream. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's something that we thoroughly enjoy doing. And this is definitely my honorable mention. So a couple of weeks ago, I found the podcast Old Gods of Appalachia, however you want to pronounce it. There is no wrong way to say it. I found that podcast and I started listening to it and everything. Fell head over heels in love with it. It is such a, if you're into horror anthologies. But another pickup that I had was the Player's Guide for Old Gods of the Appalachia. I am definitely looking forward to playing this game. For those of y'all that were on when we first started, we kind of joked around. Then Tots was kind of joking in the chat. Yeah, for those of y'all that are into gaming and stuff, I would say that we definitely need to put together a game and play this. It's going to be a horror style game. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. If you're not listening to the podcast Old Gods, if you're into horror, I would definitely check that out. I mean, doesn't that just look cool? I mean, I'm looking forward to having a session and fighting some of this stuff. And we gotta find somebody that's going to run it for us so Josh can play and not be the GM. I figured I would jump to my honorable mention since you were redoing that.
Is that better? Nope.
No, you're frozen. You might have to reboot your computer. Or you might have a loose cable. Are you Wi-Fi or direct connected?
It's Wi-Fi right now.
Okay. Let's see if...
Anyway,
no, that's not doing anything.
I was going to take you. I was going to pull something up on the screen.
You're frozen again. If you can hear me, you might need to reboot your computer. So we're having some technical difficulties after, look, once again, the power of Khonshu's name did it. I tell you what, while Josh works on that, we will jump over to this right quick and kind of talk about some stuff that's coming out. That is supposedly my pull list, but my pull list always is a lot bigger once I actually get to the store, so we'll have to wait and see. As far as comments coming out this week, definitely looking forward to that. The Hunger in the Dusk. And if y'all are not reading that, you need to pick that up. Yeah, really. How about them Yankees? Let's see what else we have coming out. We've got the Hulk Blood Hunt 1 is coming out this week. So So I am looking forward to Absolute Power Task Force 7 because that is going to have that should be a lot more Oliver Queen in that one. I'm hoping because he should be a part of that. We'll just have to wait and see. We got the Amazos. Yeah. Oh, let's see what else we got coming out. See, and this is all this week right here. Death of the Family, Robin Lives. We need to milk that for a little more than what we have. What?
Rude.
Well, Definitely looking forward to Whisper Queen. Once again, Whisper Queen, The Black Santel #3. That's that book I was telling y'all a few weeks about that it's definitely for the older crowd. If you're easily offended, do not pick it up. If you are not easily offended, definitely pick it up. Now, this is something that I like. I was never big on facsimile editions. But then when I started realizing the benefit of facsimile editions, I was kind of, hey, that's cool. For people that never got to read the Judas Contract, you got Tales of the Teen Titans 44, the facsimile edition coming out this week. So are you like back with us good now?
I think so.
All right, well, I was just kind of killing time while you worked on that. I can X out of this right quick.
No, this is good because I'm trying to pull up something something I wanted to show you because I know you're going to lose your mind.
All right, well, we do have the 4th printing of Cobra Commander #1 coming out. If y'all missed that. And I try not to be a cover purchaser, but that's just a cool looking cover.
Because everything in there.
That's just cool looking right there.
There is an upcoming 10th printing of Void Rivals #1.
Wow.
10th printing.
What is... Okay. Now that's kind of a funny cover of a variant cover for Daredevil. Let's actually see what we have coming out next week, because we're at the point now where this week's going to take care of itself. Next week, Superman. Idea. Yes, it is going to be an Absolute Power tie-in, but now's a good time to start reading Superman because we're done with the House of Brainiac storyline, and that was a fairly big storyline. So, and Superman has been a really solid book, but once again, we've got Williamson leaving, so that's kind of scary because what's going to happen with some of these books. Destro #2, and if you did not read Destro #1, oh my God. Phenomenal book. Nightwing, absolutely rock solid. We haven't talked a lot about Nightwing here lately. For some of you folks that have been around for a while, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Several years ago, there was an issue of Punisher that came out, and Josh and I have both mentioned it in the past. It's a very, let's just say, adult-themed and adult-oriented issue, and everybody that's read it knows exactly what you're talking about when you say, did you ever read the Punisher issue where they talk about Remember the Children? It was a very disturbing issue. Well, it's also one of those issues that what happens, you understand it and you applaud it and you're just like, hey, you do what you got to do. Well, Nightwing had a couple of issues that were like that not too long back, just not to that degree. I want to say they were around 111 or 113, right around there somewhere. And the tagline was, "There was a child." And it's nowhere near as bad as that Punisher issue. But this whole thing about Dick Grayson and Batman trying to save this child, honestly, it kind of tugs at the heartstrings on that one a little bit. Those two issues were outstanding.
Yes. I do hate to see Tom Taylor. Do what?
Are you ready for what you're going to pull up?
Your sound is cutting in and out now for me, and I don't know if that's me or you.
Well, you sounded just fine just then.
Well, that's good to know. I was going to open up something to show you that we just got in at the shop today because I wanted to see your expression, but it's not happening for whatever reason. So there's two things really I wanted to talk about real quick is Absolute DC, which is not the same as Absolute Power.
Yep.
Absolute DC is the Ultimate Universe DC style. It's a relaunch of all the DC universe, just like Marvel relaunched with the Ultimate Spider-Man way back in 2001. What do you think about that? It's being overseen by Scott Snyder.
It depends. Scott Snyder has done some things that I've been kind of on, but then he turns around and does something like Clear or Canary. So I'll definitely read it. I'm definitely going to give it a try. But if they were going to do, I'm about to make an extremely unfair comment, and this will be my hot take. And this is definitely a hot take considering the fact that I have no idea what Scott Snyder has planned. If you're going to do something like an Absolute DC and you're going to make it maybe some type of alternate, it needs to be headed up by Straczynski, and it needs to be in the Deadly Duo universe. And the reason why I say that is he opened up a universe of infinite possibilities with new villains and different takes on old villains just by the way he did Joker, period.
Interesting.
So, I mean, I like Scott Snyder. I definitely want to see what he's going to do. I like Scott Snyder when he's teamed up with Capullo. They're a good duo. So we'll just have to wait and see. But
All
I
right.
definitely
It's
feel like
they
need to revisit that Deadly Duo universe again and open it up even more.
I would love to see that. I absolutely would. Now, this is not the best picture, but this is, in fact, something that we just got in at the shop today. And if I ever saw something that had your name all over it, this just might be it. Are you prepared?
Oh, let's see it.
Can you handle yourself?
Hit me.
You might want to hang on to the armrests on your chair.
Oh, that is awesome right there. That is so cool. Did Tom take that picture?
He did.
Oh, tell him he did an awful job because I can't see the action figure. But still.
No, you have to look at the picture across from the action figure to really
that's
see
what
what
I'm
it looks
looking
like.
at. Oh, that is beautiful.
Isn't that amazing?
That is so
That
good.
is a glorious action figure.
It really is.
like I said, I saw it and I was like, Lordy, if that doesn't have Alan's name on it.
Now, how much are those running right there?
I have no idea. I didn't see the invoice, so I'll have to go and look it up. But I thought that was pretty sweet. I'm hoping we got more than one because I want one too.
Yeah, that does look really good.
It's gorgeous.
I kind of had another purchase in mind tomorrow, though.
You did have something come in for sure.
Well, the purchase that I had in mind tomorrow before that something that came in was kind of it was like a hardback edition. Yeah.
I'm not sure I have that anymore. I think I sold it on Saturday.
The one that was sitting
more on
top
order
of the shelf?
though. It's okay.
Yeah, I know that Tom had one sitting on top of the shelf.
No, okay, that's not what I sold Saturday. I sold the player's handbook or the player's guide, like you've got there.
Yeah,
that's what I sold on Saturday.
Yeah, I started to read the player's guide over the weekend, but then I stopped myself and I'm like, no, I need to get my hands on that book. And then I just went and sat in the garage and listened to the podcast for like 2 hours Saturday afternoon. God, that podcast is so good.
That's awesome.
You're going to start listening to that podcast sooner or later, and you're going to be sunk.
Oh, I 100% believe that.
Because the way this guy tells a story is perfect.
Yeah, I strongly suspect that's going to be the case. I can see that happening. But you got anything else you want to talk about tonight, or do you want to call it for this evening?
We will go ahead and call it for this evening because I think your computer needs a reboot.
I 100% think my computer needs a reboot. I think it just decided that it needed to update because it can only do that on Thursday nights right around showtime for this. So, yeah, no, I think that's probably what it is. Anyway, you guys have a great night. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Those of you who are watching later, thanks for watching later. We really appreciate it. We love what we do, and it's way more fun when we have you guys around to talk comics with. So thank you all for that. And we will catch you guys next time.